Let's take a look at how we can model this fishing rod. It's actually quite interesting because this is an arc that gets thinner, has some sort of not a perfect sphere, but dome elliptical ends, a ball, a wire, and then an element to rotate. Most of the dimensions are provided. And there's also a photograph including an image for dimension for scale. Okay, so the way how I would approach this is we delete everything. Units we set to millimeters. And then in the front view, Shift A, will bring in our reference images now. There's this one. Go to there, Shift A, reference. There is the other one. Okay, so this one now needs to be 9 centimeters long. Shift A, make a plane. That's the easiest way. To rotate this plane, and then this should be 90 millimeters. Okay, we see everything is quite large. So let's scale this one down. Z and wireframe, then I only see the image, but not the mesh. Shade it, and I can scale this down more. Scale this up. Here we are. Okay. So this pretty much is very close now. It needs also here, this one. We need to make this smaller and move this over VRG. Okay, cool. So this we can remove. Okay, so this is actually a nice arc. And I would like to show you the process how we can try to rebuild this. So I will start with Shift A, circle. 32 is fine. Maybe 10 right now, okay. And along the x-axis, 90 degrees. Very good. There is the ring. If I scale this up, you can see this is kind of faceted. Not a big deal. Let's add a subdivision surface modifier 2 times. So polygon, we make it look nicer. And the reason why I made this circle, you see I try to scale it and then see at what point does this actually match up. So this is now a tick too big, so a little bit smaller. Okay, this actually looks good. Maybe a little bit to the side and up. Yeah, nice. So this is actually the center point of where, how could I say that, the original construction would be. We can further play with this a little bit. Shift D and escape. And scale this one down a little bit. Some ERS. You can see then I matched this. Very good. But then here this is smaller. S and Z in our case, I scale this one up. So that matches. It's an X. Yeah. Cool. So now you see this circle I squashed a little bit. And that's because here this is bigger and then it actually gets smaller, as you can see also here in the image, how I have the cross sections described a little bit different. Okay. So we have these cross sections. Let's try to add those. Now with these circles created, cursor to selected, Shift A, I'm going to make a circle. This circle only needs maybe 6. And Yeah, we can keep where it is right now. I add the subdivision to it, and this is actually this direction, so 26 along X, and it has 19 along Y. Very good. So here you can see how we made the circle look more like an ellipse. The reason why I brought everything to there is now I can turn this on. So I'm doing the transformation along the 3D cursor. Move my object G and X kind of like to there. 26. Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe my measurement is a little bit off. Let's see, make this 28. Okay. Make this a little bit bigger. And from here now, I start rotating it right to there. And back. Oh, 26. There. This is actually the measurement. I will turn to local mode now. So you see how this actually is the x-axis that's angled, gx. I can go into 3D view, gx, and then I slide this one up to make sure it fits kind of like in between. Maybe one more to make this smoother. Okay. And then I do maybe a 27 millimeters. With the 3D cursor still active, so the rotation is at the where the 3 cursors, I can press R and simply rotate this more to here. This is now where the dome or the cap would be. Very nice. Okay, so Shift D and escape. Press R, you see how I'm nicely rotating this to there, and it maintains actually its perfect focus to the rotation center point. That's the reason why I do it this way. So this one, 16.5 by 22. So 22, 16.5. Okay. G and X, a little bit up. 23. 4. Yeah, looks like 23 more. R, maybe a little bit back. G and X. Okay, very good. Yeah, so very nice. We actually now have kind of like a start and an end profile. And we could now loft these two pieces together and then add more geometry to it. So the way how this would look, I will hide this image for the moment, select these two, Shift D and escape, and press Control J to join, or here, join, go into edit mode, and you see now I have this geometry there. I will do, because I have this here, one little trick. I will select this and say R and maybe try to rotate it to here. Oops. Shift and R. So a third in between. U and U. We can bridge. A, U and U. E, bridge. Okay. And we turn this one on. There you see, interesting. So the start and the end, they are on track, but this one, not necessarily. So let's see. Normal. Yeah, I don't really have a perfect orientation. Little trick actually. I could go to normal, press F, so I have a face. Now, yeah, also there. You see this is rotated. So undo. I will simply try to move this one straight up the way how I think this should be. Okay. Nice. Not really. If we really look at it, we can see this is kind of flat, and here it starts to bend. So we could, in edit mode, Control B, bevel this a little bit, so we add more points, and then G and bring this up. But then this area is still kind of flat. So this idea you see with the subdivision surface modeling, when we want to do a really nice geometrical transition, is possible, just labor intensive. So X and delete. How do we do this differently? Having this actually created is still very useful. So what we will do now is my 3D cursor actually I bring to there. We'll use a Bezier curve. There we are. Edit mode, global A as y and 0. So we flatten it. And then this point I will bring to there. This point I will bring to there. As scale handle down. Same here. And now I will position this right kind of like where I need it. Okay. Same there. Okay. And then R. Here I can select these two. Press select all, so A, V automatic. Select this point, and G, bring this up. Select this point, G, bring this up. And now I need to adjust the handles so that I get a nice curve. Before we continue, let's in object or edit mode, go to curve property, and we set this to 32 for the moment. This, as you can see, makes this nice and smooth. It's similar like the subdivision for splines. Like what do we do with this submodifier? And then when we're going to edit mode, there we can see with our target how far are we close. And maybe the target here we need to give 4 subdivisions, so it is actually smoother. So there it matches. And here there we can see we need to move this up. Maybe a little bit shorter. Okay, so this looks like a nicer curve. Starting point here in edit mode, select Shift S cursor to select it, and in object mode, right click, we move the starting point to there. So the curve starts right at this point and then flows to the right side. And now comes the fun and interesting trick. First, oh, we need to fix this. So you put 0. Okay. Also 0. Control A scale. As cursor to selected. It does not matter much today. And we will go with a Bezier circle. That one is huge, so maybe 10 millimeters, smaller. And yeah, what do we do with the circle? I would like to show you something. So there is this spline. Then we can go to here, geometry, bevel. They call this bevel. It's kind of unfortunate because it's more a sweep command. So with this circle, we sweep along this spline. I can click on it, select the Bezier circle, or I drop there. And there's actually now, you see a nice tube. The circle, by the way, can go wherever it wants. Kind of cool. So I need this to be elliptical and also be inside the space. So I'll show you now how we can do this. could, for example, first move this one to here so I can visualize this a little bit more. Or I could also type in the dimensions 27, 19. So 27, 19. Cool. Okay. Interesting. You notice how this is opposite. So let's say 18 by 27. A little bit dumb, but here this we can rotate RZN 90. And here you can see how this fits in. Oh, 19. Okay, cool. So this actually works now. But how do we get this one down? So this is actually where this center point comes in. So this is the center point that runs across this spline, and then the stuff follows it. When I go into edit mode, A, in local mode, and drag the stuff up or down. Oh, you see what happens? I bring this closer to the center point. So that also means here, move this to here so you can see how disconnected everything is. At this point I select, Shift S, cursor to selected. In object mode, right click, 3D origin to a 3D cursor. Cool. We might want to apply our scales too. Apply to scale. There. Very good. At this point I can push further down. Or I can, again, go 3D cursor, select everything, and S and Y. There. And then select these two, S and X, and scale it. Okay. Very nice. Good. How do we do then actually this detail? And that's actually quite fun and cool. So we can go into edit mode. Then we have our curve here. Select this point. And then you see here, there's a radius. So we can adjust this. So we can make it smaller or bigger. So we kind of override it. And when we make this small, you see how this is nice and consistent. Same here. So we just adjust this till it matches up the bottom part. Okay. Very nice. Cool. Okay. We go into Z and wireframe. You see this is very dense. This is basically the last piece that's important to set up correctly. So we have a subdivision for how many points we have along the spline, and we have a subdivision how many points along this circle. So let's select the spline. Go to here, and then we select set to 4. And you see 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6. So when we set this to 2, this is not really enough. We can actually also add a subdivision surface modifier, which we will do later, and you see how this collapses. Not good. So we need to have as many, at least, so we capture the shape. This is actually good. 8, maybe 10. It's a little bit subdivided, but it captures the shape beautifully and even. And we need to cap the ends later without any distortions. All these horizontal lines I want to reduce. That is then when we can select this curve and just simply lower it here. Okay. So 1 is not enough. 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is actually pretty good. So I go to here. Yeah, and this is turned on. You also see how this shrinks. Okay. So here, and we can scale this up a little bit more, select everything, move it up. And I turn this off, S and Y, so I scale proportionally the whole piece. So one thing to keep in mind, this subdivision smoothes everything. Now you see how it gets softer. That also means it shrinks, and that's why this needed to be expanded. That's also why this shape is not perfectly following this proportion. Okay. Now you see this this is really nice and clean while we capture the shape perfectly. Say, these two we drag out. Reference 1, reference 2. Shift and escape. Bring this in there. So height. And now this I would like to turn into a polygon model so we can continue modeling. So turn this off, object, and convert this curved surface to mesh. Here's my mesh. Very triangular. Cool. Another sub D. Push back in. And there we are. Cool. Now to now model actually these ends, we can go ahead and select this. Alt click on this edge, press F, and then it shrinks. Let's do the same there too. Maybe 1, 2 more, and rotate around. And first you might say, hey, this looks really nice, but no, it does not. Let's put on a matte cap and turn this on, and there you can see the craziness in the zebra, what's going on there, particularly also here, there. Maybe, let's see, there you can see how it wobbles. Wobble, wobble, wobble. Now here we don't have this. So the way how this is capping is not ideal. Let me show you we can fix this. It's actually super easy. And we go into wireframe mode, you can also see kind of like the shape. Now when we select these two opposite points and press J to connect, it actually creates a line there in between. Edge J, do we have this here? 3 to quarter was somewhere mesh. Essentially, this is not like F, where we draw a line between 2 points. J is kind of like a knife that cuts a line or an edge into this face. I would like to do the same from here to here and have there actually a point. So when I do this, J, let's see, pretty cool. It even adds the midpoint there. Let's go back to the matte cap. Yeah, still not perfect, but better. Now we could go to local view, maybe push this out a little bit. Yeah, but this is 10 times better as it was before. Let's put on the zebra. There we see that noise is gone. Even when I push this back. Yeah, so much, much better compared to, there you can really see the noisy quality. Also here, this starts to round really early to fix this Control R, and then we just simply add the loop cut where we want. This straightens this a little bit. Now keep in mind, so from here to here, press F. Okay, you see, yeah, from there to there, F. So this is on a line. So this, technically speaking, yeah, so I can use the Y direction, maybe tick up. So this is more rounded, but hey, we keep it this way. It's fine. So this is, as you can see, now more curved, and then it rounds. And when I delete this, you can see how this is more like a nose. Cool. Okay, let's do this one more time here. Select these 2 points, J, select these opposite points, J, and then we can select this point, move this out a little bit, Control R, and there. So now we can take a look. Yeah. So we can move this a little bit back. So this looks rounder. Yeah. JJ, so maybe not 50%, but a little bit back. So this one, JJ, and this one a little bit forward. Now you see we can how we push this into a round piece. Or maybe JJ get this closer. Yeah, I have, again, not too close because then we crease this edge. So maybe somewhere there. Cool. Yeah, and this is basically then how we start looking at this reference photo, tracing it with curve tools, and then distorting the curve tool into kind of like this tapered sweep along a curve we need, bake it, and then do the rest via Subdi modeling.